Pastor Hwang, do we need all these complicated doctrines as a Christian? These different views on eschatological doctrines. So it is very imperative, very essential for us to understand this. We've been studying the doctrines of eschatology. Some would ask us, Pastor Hwang, do we need all these complicated doctrines as a Christian? Then I would say this, not necessarily. You don't have to know all these doctrines, because this is not a direct related to the salvation. Whether you comprehend this doctrine or not, which is nothing to do with your salvation, because eschatology is not a key doctrine for your salvation. However, we are living in the end time period where within a church community around the world today got mixed up with different eschatological doctrines. As a result, majority Christians, including here in Korea, in America, even other parts of the world, got mixed up with these different views on eschatological doctrines. So, continuing questions arising from many church members. You, as a pastor, you should know all these differences. Then you should know how to resolve the differences. Okay? So it is very imperative, very essential for us to understand this. Now, as I said again, it is very complicated. And according to my experience in this teaching ministries, in the last about 40 years of my life, hardly you can find any seminary or Bible colleges teaching this topic in a very clear way. To our surprise, it is the fact. No one wants to deal with this topic in a detailed way. For that reason, I have decided to teach you rather very thorough way in this topic for your better understanding and for your better ministries, including yourself. Okay? Now, this time, I will give you, very briefly, the previous 4 lectures that I have given you here. So lecture 21, dealing with a brief review of lectures 17 to 20. So when you teach, you would go over like this to your people. Okay? Now, here, in these lectures here, I have dealt with historical development of eschatological doctrines. Historical development, starting from the early church period. Early church period indicates right here, as you know, first 500 years here. During this time, those first century Christians, including Paul, and second century, third century, fourth century, all those catacomb Christians, their view on eschatology was dominated by this historical premil. Historical premil. then they thought Jesus might come at the end of 500 years, then literal 1,000 millennium kingdom will come. That was their belief. However, they were short-sighted, but it was God's intention to give them such a short-sighted eschatology. Based on that, a Roman Church and Roman Empire rejected their teachings, which is historical premill, and invented their own new eschatology, which we call Amil. You all know that, okay? Amil. The Amil eschatology has been predominant from that moment all the way on even today. It was predominant during the time of Middle Age Church, which means Roman Catholics and Orthodox churches. When I say Orthodox churches, that represent Greek Orthodox, Syrian Orthodox, Egyptian Coptic Orthodox, Ethiopian Orthodox, later Russian Orthodox, under the Russian influence, Hungarian Orthodox, Czechoslovakian Orthodox, you just named them, Armenian Orthodox, all those Orthodox churches. Okay? All these Orthodox churches, end time doctrine was Amilenialism. Got it? Yeah. It's nice to have a review. Okay, give you a clear understanding. Okay? Now, after the Reformation, I say post-Reformation, okay, now, Amil still was a dominant doctrine. Right after the Reformation, held by Roman Catholics, Orthodox churches, even Protestants here, Lutheran, Anglicans, Presbyterians, and Baptists, and so on. Okay, those Protestant people adopted Roman Catholics and Orthodoxes' Amil doctrines without any revision. They just took it. So majority Christians, right after post-Reformation time, held Amil. In the meantime, very minority people, upon the reading the Bible, so their spiritual eyes got opened a little bit because of the Bible translation, which we studied. They came to understand, Amil doctrine should be revised because there are many areas in the Bible not in accordance with Bible teachings. They discovered the Amil doctrines are not clearly written in the Bible. So they reviewed previous early church historical premill. They came to conclusion that, historical premill must be a biblical eschatology. Okay? So held by minority people representing some Lutherans, some Anglicans, some Presbyterians, some Baptists, later and Methodists. So minority people from those major Protestant denomination people left Amil and joining and creating, restoring historical premium. So post-Reformation, how many doctrines existed? Amil and historical premium. 2. Let me repeat again. Right after the post-Reformation, how many doctrines existed? 2 doctrines. Amils, which is a majority, and historical premium, which used to be here during the first 500 years time here. Now, restoration of historical premium after 1,000 years. Now, let's just look at a little bit in detail in the area of Bible interpretations, especially in those 2 areas. Okay, now, between the Amil and historical premium, in between 2 groups, okay, they interpret Bible differently, especially in these 2 areas, in these 2 biblical texts, which is very important, which I have discussed previously. Now, here, in what way they interpret differently? Here, Amil people adopted evolution-based view. In other words, that evolution-based Bible interpretation way. We have discussed that already in the past, okay? Now, historical people, rather, they took here creation-based view. We have discussed that previously, so I don't want to go in detail. Are you okay? Now, then, here, how do they differ? Evolution view people interpret this Genesis 1 through 11, which is right here. This is Genesis 1 and 2. The fall of Adam is Genesis 3, right? And before Abraham born, Genesis 11, right here. Now, these people, is it Genesis 3 and Genesis 5? What is Genesis 5? Genesis 5 is what? Genealogy between Adam, fall of Adam to Noah. Okay? Now, they viewed that genealogy symbolically, the numbers there, aged, okay, symbolically. So that, remember I did this? That indefinite word. So now here Noah, here. So fall of Adam to Noah, which is chapter 5, these people, creation view people, they interpret this distance is how many? 1,000 years. Remember? 1,000 years. And from Noah to Abraham is another 1,000 years. Remember that? Okay? Now, but these people deny that interpretation. They consider that it's a long period. Long period. Therefore, We do not know what year Adam fell. Based on evolution theory, the age of planet Earth is how many years? 4.5 billion years. So they interpret 4.5 billion years ago, Adam fell. Long time ago, Adam fell. Okay? Fall of Adam. Therefore, we cannot just say fall of Adam was 4000 BC, 4114, which is their interpretation. Okay? Therefore, this period is a very long period. That is their interpretation. They are not counting all the numbers in the Bible as it is. They just symbolize all the numbers. Okay? Symbolic figures. Now, here you can see from Abraham to Jesus, they consider this one is historical. Okay, I have given you birth of Abraham is BC 2166, remember? Therefore, prior to Abraham's story, which means Genesis 3 to 11 story, this is not real, this is not unhistorical. Therefore, there is what? Myth? Do you remember? There is a myth. We cannot count. Only history starts from the moment of birth of Abraham. Right here. The history starts right here. So all the way to Jesus, it's around 2,000 years. Okay? Now, from Jesus to today, also historical. H means historical. It's historical. But today is right here. Got it? But we do not know when Jesus will come back again. Because, remember, starting first coming to second coming is what? They understand that's a church period. Okay? And also, they interpret that one as a millennium kingdom. Millennium kingdom. Are you with me? Millennium kingdom. That millennium kingdom, it's not a literal 1,000 years. It's a long period, very long period. Therefore, from today, the second coming, okay, we do not know how many years later. Listen to me carefully. We do not know how many years later. Then you write down again. It could be 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100,000 years. It could be. Or it could be tomorrow. It could be today and tomorrow. It's a very wide range of period. So these people calls ready for Jesus coming. Would you write it down? Okay, they say, ready for Jesus coming, it could be tomorrow. At the same time, they said, we don't know when he will come. So it is very awkward and sometimes got mixed up with historical people. Now, here again, this first coming to second coming period, they call it Millennium Kingdom. Millennium Kingdom also, they call this period is the Kingdom of God. Write down, this is important part here. Kingdom of God. Now, I have told you, but I'm going to repeat it again because it's very important here. Here. Now, write that down. Kingdom of God inaugurated. What do you mean by inaugurated? Started. Kingdom of God inaugurated, started at the moment of his first coming. Let me repeat. At his first coming here, Kingdom of God started, inaugurated. Not yet completed. It started, not yet completed. Then, when the Kingdom of God completed, at his second coming, the fulfillment of the kingdom of God. So they are using this terminology. Not yet, already come. So today, we are in the midst of kingdom of God. But not yet completed. So the completion of the kingdom of God is what? The moment of his second coming. It's an important concept here. So their understanding is the completion of kingdom of God means we just expand their idea that then the above what is Revelation 21 and 22. They would say above all here would be kingdom of God too. It completed the kingdom of God here at the moment of the second coming. Then kingdom of God will enter new heavens and new earth and new Jerusalem. However, their primary concentration, primary interest in the kingdom of God lies in this world, So we are in the midst of the kingdom of God. So it's very complicated. Now here, therefore, let's share the gospel. Let's obey the great commission of Jesus. Then they are using this language. Let us obey the great commission in order to shorten the kingdom of God, his second coming. In order to shorten the second coming of Jesus. In other words, as we fulfill the Great Commission, his second coming will be shortened, reduced in terms of time. Other language like this. Obey the Great Commission so that we can expand the kingdom of God. Expand the kingdom of God. Now, that concept, I hope you understand this. Now, in contrast with this idea, here, creation view, which I am in favor of this, creation view, that kingdom of God is this shape. This world is 7,000 years. We just took it literally, all the numbers. say numbers here in numbers here in Revelation chapter 20 verse 7, just we take it as it is. With these two, considering these two literally, then you will come up with this idea, 7,000 years. So here, above all, eternal world here, before the fall, 7,000 years, and above all, like that. We consider this one, all these ones are kingdom of God. You see, the concept is different. Our kingdom of God is what? This one is this. Okay. Their kingdom of God is the narrow sense. Most of them, their kingdom of God is right here. That's their kingdom of God. And including this. I hope you understand this. The reason I'm telling you this, you don't have to, it's not necessary all Christians should know about the differences. However, we are now dealing with the different types of Christians, okay, with different view on this eschatology. Therefore, in order to make distinctions, okay, no need to persuade them to change their view, but we should always be able to distinct. And you just accept our differences. Okay, no need to argue or criticizing others. That is not my position. The purpose of my teaching on this topic is very simple. You acknowledge them as they are, but you should be able to make distinctions. How do they differ from us? How am I different from them? And so on. Because God, they are all children of God. Different understanding on some topics. Okay, we will live eternally together. Okay, therefore, no need for criticizing and fighting over this topic each other. Are you with me? Yeah, that is a purpose. Okay, I thought that I might as well just give you brief review on the previous 4 lectures in this way. I hope that this will help you. Okay, so I will continue on other topics after the break. May God bless you.